What is up, guys, and welcome to another Top 10. Today's Top 10 is 10 well-known gaming facts that are actually false. These are facts that you probably heard from your brothers or sisters, and you believe them ever since. Enough talking, let's get straight into the list. Number 10. Skarlet and Ermac were playable in Mortal Kombat 2. Skarlet and Ermac both originated in the first two Mortal Kombat games as rumors and talks about inclusions. Skarlet's appearance came as a skin swap glitch on the Katana model that turned her costume red, sprouting unbelievable information that carried forward for years. And Ermac, a character responsible for the most revolting fatality so far in Mortal Kombat 10, was a color swap as well of Scorpion, again changing his yellow suit into a red suit when a random glitch with the words of error macro appeared on screen. In the end, it would be Mortal Kombat 3 where Ermac finally became a reality and Skarlet didn't make an official debut until Mortal Kombat 9. Number 9. Aerith didn't have to die in Final Fantasy VII. Another one from the days of the old school is Aerith's death rocked the entire media at the close of the 90s, bringing about thousands of rumors and in-depth analysis as to whether she had to die. The "oh no she didn't" theory was presented in the Final Fantasy VII case that showed Aerith near Cid's high wind airship, something that didn't happen in the game. Alongside this is if you analyze the final area where you fought Sephiroth, there's another carved out space in the preceding scene where it looks like she could have stood all along. The flip side to this was, of course, that it was just the first time any game had dealt with an emotional character driven narrative in such impactful way, and nobody, regardless of age or color, could resist wishing that there was a way to save her. And then the creator of the game mentioned that such a painful and weighting decision was included because his own mother actually passed away during the production of the game, and he was inspired to see if such emotional weight could be introduced in a video game. Clearly it worked, and emotions made the storyline stronger. Number 8. Vacuum cleaners destroyed PlayStation games. The more you think about how unaware you were of the basic physics and the going-ons of the universe as a kid, the more it makes you realize that real life sucks the fun out of everything. It turns out the floor wasn't lava after all. Pulling faces didn't make your face stay like that, and unfortunately people thought letting your mom run a vacuum cleaner over your PlayStation disc would wipe the game away and erase all the data. How do you... Unfortunately, this is not true, and you guys can vacuum clean your game disc all you want. It won't actually erase the data and suck the data, I guess. That's what the kids thought. Number 7. Mario 64 was the first 3D platformer. Is that what you thought? You're wrong. Nintendo's legendary platformer Mario 64 was actually a totally rip-off of what ended up being Croc Legends of Gobos. The story goes that Croc's creators created a working 3D render of a character moving through their respective world, an amazing feature in the early 90s, and presented it to Nintendo, asking to have Yoshi as the main character. Being very protective of their characters and franchises, Nintendo refused, but then went ahead and created Mario 64, stealing all the glory in the process. Croc's creators were forced to recoup their losses and created Croc the following year, backed by Sony as an exclusive. Creator-director Jazz San later ran into Nintendo's owner, who thanked him for giving him the idea, mentioning that he gave him enough royalties to make it up for. How nice of him. Number 6. Yoshi was rideable in Mario 64. Mario 64 didn't let you control anyone or anything other than Mario himself. Still, that didn't stop people from proclaiming that if you had enough lives, visited certain statues in a certain order, or simply stood still for a certain amount of time, that Yoshi would come riding out to carry you away. Unfortunately, you did not have the ability to ride Yoshi. Number 5. Naked Lara was a cheat code in Tomb Raider. Every kid's dream was to see Lara naked. Let's all be honest here. So one guy started the rumor, and from then on, hormones rose, and you would dig through everything possible to uncover it. Of course, in the end, it was a hack code where Lara's clothes had been repainted flesh-colored, or someone with a lot of time on their hands had attempted to create entire skin from scratch. Either way, at no point was the Naked Lara mod an official thing or secret to be unlocked. It was damn fun to chase after it though. Number 4. Is it true that violent video games make people more violent? I conducted 3 studies to investigate real-world violence compared to video game violence. More video game playing is actually associated with less real-life violence. That's right, 100% increase and violent video game consumption led to a 1% statistically measurable decrease in violent crime. How could virtual violence decrease real-life violence? Video games lets off steam. Another theory is time management. Every hour someone is playing video games is another hour they're not outside doing anything bad. Number 3, blowing into cartridges fixes them. Anyone who had an old console such as the Nintendo 64 or any other cartridge loading console before Sony introduced the disc-based revolution will remember the schoolyard myth that if your game wasn't working, you could simply blow on it and make it work again. Bizarrely, this approach tends to get used everywhere from TV remotes to any modern day disc causing issues. But in reality, it was pure luck that connectors inside the cartridges came back to life. In fact, blowing the increasing force actually did more harm than good, building up layers of moisture and potentially dislodging the smaller pins within the housing. It's just a shame this info wasn't more widespread back then when it mattered the most. I actually was part of that era, blowing into it, thinking that it worked. I guess I'll stop from now on. Number 2, this is hard to believe, but everyone keeps saying there are more male gamers than female. Forever, gamers were looked as a thing that the boys played. Guys played video games and girls played with dolls. But no, that fact is false. Basically, your average gamer is no longer a lazy guy eating Hot Pockets with acne cream. Internet Advertising Bureau studied that around 52% of all gamers are now females. But there's a catch. This is including those who play on mobile devices and tablets, so Farmville, Candy Crush, Clash of Clans, and etc. are potentially picking up that stat. Still, girls are playing more than guys. So stop with that guys only play video games, guys. And if anything, it's pretty attractive that a girl plays video games. But that's just my opinion. Number 1 on this list is that games are not art. People downgrade video games and do not appreciate it as much as they should. Legendary film critic Roger Ebert said video games can never be art in 2010. It ended up inspiring plenty of other critics to follow him, from The Guardian's Jonathan Jones to Radio 5's Mark Kermode. It gained quite a lot of reactions at the time, although Ebert completely overlooked the fact that to play within any respective world or game, there are thousands of steps put in place by teams of developers, artistic visionaries, and creative people. Look at The Last of Us, Uncharted, GTA, and the list goes on. These developers spent years and millions of dollars creating amazing fine art. When you spend thousands of hours working on something for others to enjoy, you have created art. Well, that's it for this top 10, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, show it by leaving a like on the video. That helps a lot. Also, my top 10 playlist is in the description. Make sure to check that out. Don't forget to check the question of the day in the description. What else is there to say? Subscribe for more, and thanks for watching. Peace out.